On a cool season grass like bluegrass or fescue or perennial rye, it's very common to have problems in the summer. It has brown spots, or it's brown, or a combination of problems. We're going to look at those problems and exactly how to address them. I'm John Valentino, landscape architect and landscape contractor, and we've been in business over 40 years now. And this is Chip Valentino. He's my brown lawn detective today. You know, we're in an area that 112-degree temperatures aren't uncommon. All the cool season grasses struggle with real high temperatures, and then the wrong amount of water. I was kind of waiting for an example I could show you. We haven't really had a lot of problems the last few years. I think a lot of that is because we're using our products. This was a lawn we installed in about February of this year, and it looked great until it started getting real hot. In this lawn, it looked fantastic until it started getting real hot. When it got real hot, what we had, I believe, I've now diagnosed it as two different problems. In this case, you'll always see drying of turf, especially when it's real hot, around the edges, because the edges, if they're close to concrete, they get hotter. They're also a little more difficult to apply adequate water to because you're trying to only water right up to the edge, so you're not applying water thoroughly over that whole area. What I believe happened here is when it got real hot, these edges started drying out, and the response to that by the landscape maintenance people was to dramatically increase the water because it was really looking bad. And when they dramatically increased the water, I think we created spots inside with fungal disease. So then we had the edges looking brown and the inside looking kind of mottled. And that's a real good example of the difference between a lawn drying out and a lawn with fungal disease. Fungal disease will usually have some kind of pattern and some kind of variation in colors, whereas dryness is more universal and more complete, and you can see these dry areas were pretty thorough along the edges. So what we did is we treated all of the areas for fungal disease, because our treatment for fungal disease is good for the soil, good for the lawn. It doesn't matter if that's really what it's suffering from or not. What we're doing is entirely good for the lawn and the soil. First, we used Blend. We're trying to get a lot of life in there. Beneficial soil life is what can combat fungal disease. So we don't want to kill good fungi. Instead of putting a fungicide that would kill the bad fungus but also kill the good fungi, our only hope for not getting it every year, we want to build up the soil so that it can combat these bad fungal diseases and make it so that it's not like a treadmill where we have this problem every year. So we used Blend, we used Penetrate, and then a week or two later I put a bunch of Nourish Biosol on. And then I did that same thing 3 to 4 weeks after that. And that's pretty much throwing the works at it. I said I don't want to use fungicides, I don't want to use chemical fungicides. But this one is called Howler, and it's designed to build life in your soil. It's made from a beneficial bacteria, so it's not going to damage the good fungi in the soil or the good bacteria or the good protozoa, the good nematodes. I went ahead and used it on the lawn along with our products. They are complementary products. And the result was pretty quickly, the part that was damaged by fungal disease got a lot better and looked pretty good. But the edges that were brown from essentially burning up, those did not look much better, and our hot weather continued until very recently. As long as we had that hot weather, none of those roots that were still a little bit alive would come back. So about the only way to make the lawn look good everywhere was then to overseed it. The landscape maintenance people used tall fescue mixed with perennial rye because perennial rye does come up fast. It's a way to try to make the lawn look better very quickly, because that'll germinate in about 7 days. But that overseeding can't really occur until you have completely different weather, and our weather stayed hot an inordinately long time, even for us by our standards. Normally I might like to do the reseeding in late September, but We had really hot weather right through the end of September and then into October. And these cool season grasses won't germinate effectively if it's real hot. So as soon as it cooled off just a little, we did overseed it. Then there was apparently a problem with the irrigation system and some of the seed didn't germinate. It was overseeded again very recently, like about 4 or 5 days ago. So you can see spots here where the recovery is very complete and looks great, and then some spots where still need overseeding. Most of the spots that still need overseeding are from those areas that were dry, that died because of dryness. Right now we have great weather for cool season grass. We want to take advantage of this great weather for this seed that we just put on to germinate. We want to feed it, we want to get it as healthy as possible, we want to mow it regularly, we want to water it properly, and essentially prepare for next summer. Now with a fortified soil full of beneficial life, we can combat fungal disease, and an analysis of the irrigation system programming and how it's applying water, try to keep these edges moist. And the real key to that is when it starts to get hot to really look at it almost every single day and not allow it to be dry. Cool season grass, the key to it in keeping it looking good in the summer is lively soil, proper watering, and close monitoring when it's hot, and using things like the products we're talking about, which is our Nourish Biosol and our blend and our Penetrate Liquid Biotiller. We have prior lawns that we've shown you where they had fungal disease every year, and by making applications of our products, it wasn't 100% recovery from one year to the next, but it was dramatic improvement every summer to where after 3 or 4 years, then now there's no more fungal disease in the summer. And that's, I think, much more effective than using a synthetic fungicide, which will work for the fungus, but then most likely you'll continue to have that problem very seriously every summer. So if this was more frustrating than helpful because your lawn continues to look bad, other options are, we've had other videos where we plant a ground cover like Corapi instead. Corapi doesn't get fungal disease. You can take the lawn out entirely and go to more usable spaces concept, which we've had quite a few videos that show that.